Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hope everyone had a great week. It was touch and go if I was going to be able to do this at all. We have no home internet at all. Our entire system is down for our subdivision. They're hopefully, they're going to be able to come out today between 1 and 3 and fix it. That's the latest update. But right now, we're doing this off of tethering. I am using my cell phone data plan in order to do this live stream. If you have the option to watch this stream right now, this morning in HD or in 4K Ultra or something equivalent to that, I highly recommend it. Just because it's going to show you the best quality of picture. But if you can watch, you can't watch it now in 4K. Maybe your tablet or your cell phone doesn't have 4K, or high definition. You would think that all of them would, but not every cell phone does. But maybe you can watch it later on a television or some other device, tablet, whatever. Good morning, Gianna Marie. High definition 4K or 3K, whatever your television or device may display in. If you can watch it on that either now or later, I would appreciate it because you're going to get the best and the most out of this, the show. Kitty I'm here, Kitty We're tethering on my mobile service right now. So I still have no home internet, as I was telling everyone before you got here. They're hopeful that they're going to be out today between 1 and 3 to restore internet for our subdivision. I mean, everybody who has this company is out, which I would say probably is 90% or better of the people who live in the subdivision. We all have the same internet provider, and the whole system is out. So if you have Ring Cam or a Nest Cam or whatever, you can't upload anything to the internet, to a cloud if you have security, using one of them without internet. And when nobody has internet, unless you plug your phone, in tether, which I'm doing right now. Video looks good. Hopefully, Gianna Marie, that if they get it fixed today between 1 and 3, when they say they're going to have a service provider available to come out here. I don't know what all involves. They don't even tell you what the issue is. It just tells you that there is an outage in your area, that a work ticket has been moved up to a service technician, and that the service technician and the computer, this is all computer recording. And it tells you that the service provider will be in your area between 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. So hopefully they get it fixed. So if not, tomorrow for trivia, we're hoping to do the same thing that I'm doing right now, but with my father-in-law's cell phone. He never uses it. He never uses any of the data, on his plan at all. Hell, he hasn't even charged the phone in over a year. It just sits there on the table. So cross fingers that everything works. All right, let's get this party started. This is page 2 news, the 250th edition. I'm sorry, I didn't write it down. No, this would be the 296th because it's 100 off of the trivia night, so 296, even more than I thought I'd done. Now with 2% more candy corn and still less Epstein files. Welcome to those who have joined the channel in the past week. Due to reporting errors and a now known glitch on YouTube, I do not have an exact number of those that subscribed last week or even the names. There's no little star next to the person's name or a date. It's blank. I'm taking a rough guess. It's somewhere north of 20 and less than 30. But again, that's just a guess because of YouTube's own issue. Now, with that said, I need to tell you about another YouTube issue. And this is not just with my channel, and neither is the last issue I just told you about, where I don't know how many people subscribed last week. There is a known issue, in case you may run into this later on another channel, where if you're in a live stream like this and you decide to give a super chat to the creator, a donation, you type out your message. Your message may appear briefly in the comment section and then vanish. It will not be at the top with your name or an icon at all. That will never appear, but your name may appear and then disappear from the comment section that you actually gave a super chat, unless the creator sees it exactly as it comes in. And let's face it, sometimes we don't see them right away, and I look for the icon at the top of the chat. So that is a known issue. They say that they've resolved it, but there is thousands and thousands of messages after that people are still having it as of this morning, that issue as of 7 a.m. So I'm not saying you have to give me anything at all. I'm not asking for your money. But I'm just letting you know, in case you're on another channel and someone says, hey, I sent the super chat to the creator, don't get pissed at the creator. They may not know that the person actually sent it. So with that, moving on. Warning about the content on this channel. Viewer warning. This channel discusses real crimes involving real victims, real investigations, and real consequences. The cases covered may include violence, disturbing details, and topics that are not suitable for everyone. Dark humor may be present, but let's be clear, the crimes themselves are not entertainment. The victims are never the punchline. If you're here for facts, content, and uncomfortable truths, welcome. If you're here to romanticize criminals, argue in bad faith, or get offended by reality, this may not be the right channel for you. Viewer discretion is advised and common sense is required. Being a keyboard warrior and with courage will not be rewarded ever. Please never forget the party that told you to reject the evidence of your eyes and ears. It was their final and most essential command. That comes from George Orwell's 1984, and the same thing that Adolf Hitler told the international community as he was rounding up Jews and gypsies in his own country in 1939. Do not believe what your eyes and ears are telling you. And nothing truer can be said about today's society than that. Nancy Guthrie, today is the 28th day since her kidnapping and abduction. The reward for the return or information leading to the arrest and conviction of whoever did this to Nancy Guthrie is now at $202,500 is where the reward stands right now. $1 million has been given up by the Guthrie family, $100,000 by Crime Stoppers of Arizona, and an additional $100,000 by a benefactor who runs the Crime Stoppers program in Wisconsin, and $2,500 from another individual. That is where the reward stands as of today. I wanted to wait until I personally had confirmation before I spoke on this massive thank you to Savannah Guthrie and the Guthrie family. for making a $500,000 donation to the Center for Missing and Exploited Children. You never know just how much good that donation will do. A big, huge thank you from me personally. $500,000 on top of the $1 million that they've put up for their mother. They gave a $500,000 donation to the Center for Missing and Exploited Children. That is massive. When it comes to offering up, money for rewards, along with, getting information and the word out there about those who are missing. In case you're not aware, the Center for Missing and Exploited Children also has a grant program that helps support other nonprofits, such as the Charlie Project and the Doe Project, where these are databases of missing people. They may have gone missing as a child, or a teenager, and now they're an adult, but they help support and keep these other programs alive. But a massive thank you again to the Guthrie family. Today, we're going to talk about the no backpack photo posted by Kash Patel, the FBI director. And quickly, before we get into it, I want to make sure that I'm absolutely 100% clear on this. What we're about to see and what I've broken down along with the help of several of my friends who have worked in the data retrieval and the data enhancement, for law enforcement, federal and state levels. All of us agree on one, overriding thing about the picture that was posted by Kash Patel on his official FBI X account, that the photo never should have been released. Even if at the bare minimum, someone within the FBI altered the photograph, and that's what we're going to get into, is the photo itself, how reliable it is, how good it is, what it can tell us, and what it can't tell us. This is the actual photo as is, unaltered by me or anyone, and the actual size of the photo that was posted on Kash Patel's X account. He posted this the same day all the other photos and the short video of the perpetrator at the front door of Nancy Guthrie's were released. But yet, this photo stayed only on his X account and was never released to the media. He didn't release it to his friends at Fox Television. He didn't release it to Newsmax. He didn't tell anybody about it unless you dug down deep into his X account and you looked at it. There you would see it on the 10th of January, the same day that all of the rest of the photos and everything else, February, when everything was released. On your right is a 15 times enhanced of the image itself. No filters, nothing done by me or anyone else. It's just a 15 times enhancement. As you can see, this is a dark image. It is granulated, very pixelated. And there are other things that are wrong with this photo that you may not be aware of at just first glance. And I had someone jump into my comment section that was on here on YouTube who wanted to point out that I was wrong about this photo that was being circulated to all news programs. Who found it? An ABC affiliate found it on Kash Patel's account and then started circulating the picture as a new picture, new evidence in the case, when it was already there the whole time since the 10th, along the same day that they released all the other photos. Again, this is unenhanced. I mean, it's enhanced 15 times, only the size itself. Do you notice anything odd about photo number 1 compared to the other photos? Photo number 2 and photo number 3. Photo 2 and 3 are still photos that come from the actual video of the perpetrator coming up to the house, and then he would go to the doorbell, try to mess with the doorbell, and then walk away, pull flowers, and then bring them up to the doorbell itself. That's where photo number 2 and photo number 3 come from. What is odd about photo number 1, besides what I already told you about it being dark and pixelated? Do you notice anything odd? It's right there in front of you, and we're going to get into what's odd about that photo. How about the lack of light? Why is it so pixelated compared to the others? Again, this is the photo. Now I'm going to go back, and I want you to look at all the other 2 photos of the porch area itself. You notice how dark it is? Look at the ground itself. You can't make out the individual tiles behind the word notice there. The bricks on the wall of the entryway are so pixelated you can't tell. In photo number 1 we're looking at, you can't tell the edge of lines on any of the bricks because it's been extraordinarily, pixelated. Again, you can make a lot more out of a lot more detail in photo number 2 and 3 that come from the actual video. And photo number 1 was supposedly taken as a still shot from a video. And what the media has been telling you, and Kash Patel has been telling you, is that the photo in number 1 is of a prior date that predates the actual abduction. In that photo, we're supposed to believe that was taken from the Ring camera itself. So the Ring camera wasn't working. It went from 2K in quality down to what, a 986, and took that video, and that's what the still shot's from. Are we supposed to believe that the same camera that shot everything else from there on out, in 2K, 4K, that all of a sudden back on this one particular day that predates it, that the photo, and video was in such poor resolution? Why isn't the light come on? You see how in photo number 2, you can see all the way down the pathway from the house to the driveway, and the same in number 3. But in number 1, it's so dark behind the object itself, the person standing there with no backpack on, you can't see a foot behind the individual. You can see a foot in front of the individual, but again, it's so pixelated, you can't tell any definition. Where are the eyes in number 1? Even in all the other dark, overexposed and overexposed photos that we have seen and been presented in the media, you can see the eye holes, the nose hole, the mouth hole, in every one of them, but not in this one, not in number 1. That's supposed to be a photo that was taken the same day as all on a previous day. Again, the camera just doesn't pick up these details. Why? Makes you go, This is the photo again. On your left is the photo that as is unaltered from Kash Patel's X account. The other one on the right is we added grayscale to it. So what grayscale does is it makes things that are so on a scale of like this is, I'm using this as a hypothetical, okay, to give you some kind of context. 1 is a white, something that's supposed to be white. 10 is something that's supposed to be black. By adding a grayscale, it balances everything to a 5 immediately. That's what the grayscale does, is it makes everything a 5. So if it's slightly darker, it makes it slightly darker. If it's more light, it makes it more light. Again, where are the mouth hole, eye hole, and nose hole of the ski mask? Are we to believe that this individual is wearing an executioner's mask that they would put on someone that they're about to electrocute in the electric chair, where they have no eye hole, mouth hole, nose hole at all? Maybe they bought another ski mask. And why is it in this photo enhanced 30 times on the grayscale? we can make out more detail about what the individual is wearing, but no backpack. Okay? No gun. I'm not even going to bring that into the picture, but I'm just to point it out to you right now. If the individual showed up on a previous date, they didn't bring the gun either. It's not just the backpack. Next, who walks around with their right arm twisted backwards? Where that red circle is, if you're watching this in high definition or in something, 4K Ultra right now, you can see in that area where the red is that the thumb is pointed towards the back, towards the driveway, as if someone has detached the hand from the other side and put it on the other hand backwards. The whole hand. So the arm has to be twisted in such a, and distorted in the jacket. Why would you walk around that way? Supposedly, again, we're supposed to believe that this is an unaltered photograph from Kash Patel, the FBI director. Why is the hand backwards like that? Still no eye holes, stitching, anything that can be made out in the mask itself. No eye, mouth hole, nose holes, nothing. Now we're at 50 time enhancement, and still the entire ski mask and all facial things that could be made out from it are completely gone. They don't exist anywhere. Under enhancement, you can see missing altered pixels that make a pie shape. That an example of it is down below on your right side of what it actually looks like. And next photo, I'll zoom in even more. Again, if you're watching this in HD or in 4K, you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about here. You may not on other devices. Here's a more enlarged photo of that area where the arrow is. It is it looks like a backwards pie with a slice taken out of it. I'm not the only one that noticed this. Matter of fact, I wasn't even the first one that picked this out when we were looking at the photos in our group. The first person that pointed it out was a former law enforcement officer from another state that I've never met personally, but we is part of the group. He pointed out what the hell's going on there on the left-hand side of the upper chest area. Why does it look like there's a pie on his actual jacket? Here is what I'm saying about the photo itself. One, no photo or video released has a date or timestamp on it. How did the media pick up, and how did the FBI director Kash Patel determine that this photo of the person wearing no backpack or gun came from a previous date? Nancy Guthrie did not pay for, nor did she ever pay for, cloud storage. The story is, they tell us the only reason why we are able to have these photos and video, short 15-second video of the perpetrator at the door that day when she was abducted, was because Google had not gotten around to deleting the information, and it was in queue to be deleted. Meaning it was in queue in short term, within maybe the next 48 hours. They got there just in time to have it restored and get the information. They want us to believe that the other photo was from January 11th, a full 2 weeks prior, or more from that date, and that was in the cloud of the person with no backpack. Let's just say that the photo is real for just a second before I go on to number 2. Let's say that the photo is 100% real and it was from January 11th, and the perpetrator actually was there on a previous date without a backpack or handgun, casing her home. Let's just, again, for hypothetical situation, say that's real. How much of our data is actually being stored by Google that and these other doorbell camera systems out there where you don't have a subscription, you're not paying for them to store it. How much of our data is really being stored? And that means the FBI and the Department of Justice is lying to us all about what information they actually do have in this case. Do they have more video from the other cameras around the house? Do they have indoor video or cameras? Is there something else here that they're not letting on about? And the other factor is if people are scared about Ring camera adding a feature of facial recognition, you better believe that the government has had it a lot longer than Ring camera or anybody else will, and the public out there would have it. Now let's go on to number 2. It is disingenuous to say the photos came from another date or time per the FBI's own statements and their press release. Again, they said that they got there in time, just in time to save the photos and the video of the perpetrator at the door, and it was in queue to be deleted. Why is that photo so far out of focus? And why is it so dark? Is number 3. Number 4, why does the video and the still photos not say Nest, the manufacturer, in the upper corner of like every other piece of video footage? In case you're not aware, Ring and Nest doorbell cameras, regardless of how you move the camera around, if you're focusing it down the corridor from the front door, or if you're shining it and looking down at the floor, or you're looking at yourself, or you're looking at the stars in the sky, it will always have the watermark of Nest or Ring in the upper corner. Why does this photo released by the FBI not have it? At the very least, since it's not there, that means that the FBI and Kash Patel uploaded a photo that is clearly been altered. All of the other photos and video from that was released by the FBI to the press all has the word Nest in the upper right corner. Think I'm wrong? Look at every single photo and video from the FBI uploaded about the perpetrator. In the upper corner, every one of them say Nest, not the one that Kash Patel put only on his X. That doesn't have the word Nest anywhere. In the upper right corner here, where there's the perpetrator and then the next image is blurred, that is where they zoomed in on the actual chest strap itself to determine somehow from that the backpack is from Ozark Trail because of that design on the strap. Even on that photo, they put their own source was from the FBI. When they zoomed in and altered a photo, they then labeled it that they were the source of that photo was from the FBI. But in the upper corner of every other one, you'll see the word Nest. Once again, unaltered, just how Kash Patel uploaded the photo on his official X account. Where is the Nest manufacturer name? It's not there. Don't know why they would do it. Don't know why he would do it. Could the photo have been altered without Kash Patel's knowledge? Of course it could have been. A tech may have tried to clean up the image, yet they were sloppy in doing so, and then Kash Patel released it. And by that, it could, that could, account for the multiple issues with the hand, the missing pixels that are seen on the chest, and was called a defect of angle from cleaning up the photo on the chest area. That could have been caused by someone holding their cursor over the chest area and then double clicking on it. That could have caused that actual defect on the chest. It also very well could be another one of the hundreds of AI fakes that were out there. And Kash Patel just decided that it's real and uploaded it along with the other information on his official X account. Again, the FBI and the Pima County Sheriff's Office release of the video and stills, if this image was known on the 10th and posted by Kash Patel, which he did, why has it never been released in any form, in any press release, along with all the others? I don't give a rat's behind what Fox News, News Nation, ABC, NBC, hell, even PBS, whatever the hell they do from last week going forward. If they start circulating this photo as new information, and now they can include it along with other photos and the video, it doesn't mean that Kash Patel and the FBI released it as official document or evidence in the case for us to look at. It doesn't make it so. If I release a photo today of myself on and with using AI in the at the foyer of Nancy Guthrie's house, doesn't mean I was there. Doesn't mean I had anything to do with it. But we could all start circulating around my picture there and say, hey, look, Will was there. Will had something to do with this. It doesn't, we can't go back and then create the history of this entire thing. I had this photo that Kash Patel uploaded, looked at by several former law enforcement agents, along with a former member of the Secret Service. Each of them examined this image both before and after it was enhanced by me and by themselves. They unanimously agreed that due to overall quality of the image, irregularities, talking about the chest issue and the hand, and the clearly visible missing pixels in the chest area, and the missing manufacturer name in the upper corner, that the photo cannot be considered reliable. In their professional opinion, the image should not have been released to the media. Again, based on the expert analysis, this photo should not be treated as credible evidence. Ultimately, you as the individual have the free will to draw your own conclusions. Other well-known fake on the left is of the perpetrator leading Nancy Guthrie out of the house. That's just how real some of these fakes are. Is this photo of the perpetrator, who apparently doesn't have a face and has a backwards hand, is this a fake as well? Or is it AI just like the other, but Kash Patel got tripped up and posted it on his X account? At the end of the day, I do not have all the answers. My responsibility is to rely only on the information that I can factually verify, substantiate, and document. As with many high-profile cases, there are individuals who seek attention or personal gain, often looking for validation, i.e., their 15 seconds of fame or financial support. That is not my objective. I do not seek praise, nor do I ask for financial contribution in exchange for speculation. My commitment is to the truth, because with the truth and carefully verified and responsible reported, that allows people to better understand complex situations and to make information decisions about the world around them. Kidnapping investigations are inherently complex and continually evolving. Every tip must be carefully evaluated. Every piece of evidence must be thoroughly examined. Individuals may be re-interviewed as new information emerges, and crime scenes must be reassessed repeatedly to ensure nothing has been overlooked. Hence the reason why they've gone back and forth to Nancy's home and to her daughter's home multiple times. because as information comes in, you have to verify that information. Maybe a tip came in that said that Nancy was wearing a nightgown with little pink flowers on it. So they go to the house, they ask the daughter, does Nancy have a nightgown like this? Yes. So then they go back to the house and look for it. Or, hey, did Nancy leave something at your house on the bureau? Asking the daughter where she was the night that she vanished. And they go, well, I don't know. So they go back to look at the bureau to see if there's something there or if something had been placed there, disturbed the dust on the bureau. So they have to go back. Again, these cases are constantly evolving. The last thing the family needs during such a critical time is efforts to slow, for tips to stop coming in, or for hope to fade. Continued vigilance and cooperation and perseverance are essential in the pursuit of the answers in this case and so many others like it. And just because Nancy Guthrie is a high profile case that is being splashed across the media from the Middle East all the way to the West Coast of the United States and everywhere in between, doesn't mean it's the most important. If your loved one was kidnapped, maybe it was a child or a teenager abducted, kidnapped by someone, a non-custodial parent, an uncle, a niece, a grandmother, whatever the case may be, a boyfriend of theirs, whatever it might be. That is the most important case in your life that you will ever have to deal with. And you will want that case in front of everyone's eyes. Just like the Guthrie case. They want this case in front of everyone's eyes right now and the attention to help bring their mother home. Thank you for tuning in to today's show. The chat is still open. Again, if you just watch this on a device that is not high definition, I strongly suggest, if you have such a device, to watch it later on another high definition device. You're going to see more details about what I pointed out there. And you're going to ask yourself, why in the hell did Kash Patel post this photo on X? That's the first question. And the second question you're going to ask yourself, in light of the fact that none of the videos or still photos or anything released from the FBI that pertains to the house, nothing has a date or a timestamp on it. If this photo was from January 11th with no backpack and no gun, why and how did anyone determine that it was from a previous date? How did they do that? It's not like there's a tree in the background where you can tell the season of the tree because the leaves are on the tree and now they're on the ground and the photos that were released later. That way you could have a timeline. There's nothing there. It's so pixelated and so blown, you can't make out the bricks that are right there within 4 feet. What are we supposed to gain from that? You have to ask yourself the question. Question the evidence that they're telling you. In every case, not just this case. And when it comes to the media, they're going to get people who are going to go down a rabbit hole on one side of the political spectrum. They're going to villainize anyone and everything on this side, and the other side is going to do the exact same on this side. They're going to villainize anyone that they believe is on that side, and these people are going to villainize anybody they believe is on that side. And where is the truth? It's got to be somewhere in there. You have to look through and filter through everything to try to find the truth. Now, I will point out one last thing before I go to the chat and start reading the chat. The same people that I had look at this stilled photo are the same people that I have been, part of a group with since the Christopher Watts case took place. These are the same people and the same businesses most of them are now since retired from the forensics in the forensics area. But these people helped me with the video of the shadow in the driveway that good old armchair dickhead wanted to tout, was his own information, and it proved that there was somebody else at the Watts house, and helped him carry out that case. These same people looked at this photo and determined individually, not as a group in a chat, and said, "Oh yeah, I believe this." I sent it to them individually, like we do on a lot of other cases, and we have done since then, and we have done up to this point, and we will in the future. We look at photos and we determine based on what is there and what is not there, if it's real or what we can see in the photos or videos. So, again, that's where it is. I'll let it lay there. And to the person who pointed out in the comment, on YouTube, I'm sorry that got deleted, but it wasn't about you. The person who asked the question or pointed out that the photo was on Kash Patel's ex. I already knew all that. It wasn't you. The reason why that stream, of comments underneath that got deleted. It got deleted because of somebody else who came in and was not only attacking you about what you were asking, but was attacking me about posting information that they believed was detrimental to the investigation. So, and my moderator did definitely overstep her bounds, and I have had a long conversation with her, and we to make sure that nothing like this happens in the future. In fact, I have since removed certain controls from this moderator, because it's not the first time that something like this has come up, where she has, and she has, trust me, if you're listening, sweetheart, I know you have my best interest at heart. I really do know that. Okay. But we talked about it, and we discussed, look, this is an open forum, YouTube in the comment section. As long as the person doesn't get nasty with, me or to somebody else who's commenting and starts calling them names, maybe, instead of deleting the comments themselves, put them in and mark them for review, which I know she's trying to protect me and others from seeing this garbage, but we will work on this going forward with all my moderators. So here we are. All right, there's where I my bookmark on the comments. Have they said what caused it? What caused the photo or anything about the one that Kash Patel posted, Kitty Coo? No. Kash Patel has not mentioned that photo that he posted on his ex at all. Neither, and you can bet your last dollar, Fox News, News Nation, and those who politically align with the current administration on that side, they're never going to ask such a question, because you don't want to cause waves. Because, and then if you do, they're just going to sick their FCC chairman on you to take away your license or get you booted off the air, like they do to everybody else on this side. So they just keep their mouth shut. They don't ask. And I'm not being political about that. That's a fact. You have never seen the FCC chairman come out, and say anything about News Nation, Newsmax, any of the people on this side. They will never come out and say anything bad about them. Only the other side. They won't take away their ability to do their content on this side and say whatever they want on this side, but they certainly will on this side. And weaponizing the FCC chairman against one side of the political aisle against the other is wrong. It's not free speech anymore. And it really does encroach on your First Amendment rights to, and our rights to speak. So don't care where you are politically. That's the actual fact. You have to look at it and you say, he's actually right. Will there be a celebration for the 300? Will there be a celebration for the 300th episode, Francie? I do not have anything planned right now, but maybe. I mean, all depends on when the 300th episode drops. What weekend or business wise. If I have the time to do something, I would love to do something. I would love to do something for the 400th trivia night as well, which is coming up because tomorrow night's trivia would be the 396th episode of Trivia Night tomorrow. But I don't have any plans right now. I will definitely consider it and look into it more. Will can wear his Elvis wig. I have a complete Elvis outfit. It's not the only one I have. I got a prison outfit from the Montana State, old Montana State Penitentiary, inmate number 263348. I got the shirt and jacket and the shoes that they would have supplied to the inmate at the old Montana State Penitentiary. I've got a Jesus Christ outfit, the shroud and everything else. I got a lot of stuff that most of you probably have no idea that I have. I have probably eight wigs. I've probably used 5 of them. Oh, and I have a complete outfit for a couple other things, but we won't get into them. I don't know why I buy all this stuff. I'm just nuts. I've watched the live trial the other day, and we weren't able to chat in English, but we could chat in Spanish, and it showed only a few could read it. The YouTube is having a lot of issues right now, and it's not just that. Those are just the ones that I'm aware of. We know for the longest time, and probably all of 2020, the last part, I'd say from July going to the end of the year 2025, there was definitely an issue with full-length content. If you upload your content on people and blogs, which is the category, full-length videos, almost nobody was seeing them at all. But they were showing all the goddamn shorts videos that you could ever make. And they were pushing them out. But somehow it mysteriously solved itself across the platform without YouTube ever acknowledging it. A lot of things are that way. They have issues, that pop up, and they never say anything about it at all. They just kind of wait and hope that it just goes away until an outside place, like CNET or somebody else acknowledges and shows it. And then YouTube's like, oh, yeah, we better say something about this. But otherwise, they don't. It's kind of push it underneath the rug and pretend it never happened. Are the other 2 photos backlit? Not that I'm aware of. See, the Ring camera and Nest camera, when they detect motion and the camera comes on, what it does is it turns on the light like a couple of seconds beforehand. That way, it doesn't, it automatically pixelate the crap out of the camera trying to adjust to the light level. It turns on the light, then it starts recording. So, but the other one's backlit. No, not that I'm aware of, Pippadot. Why is it we watch and this? Why We've never seen another moon landing. Hmm. Where are you looking for the moon landing? You could go to NASA website. There's a lot of the moon landings and orbital videos of the moon. Don't know why. What the context of the question, Kitty Q? Because his girlfriend approved it. Okay. They obviously are holding out on us like always. Yeah. I mean, it would be detrimental to the entire case if the FBI told us 100% or the Pima County Sheriff's Department told us 100%. I get that. Everyone gets that. If they told us all tomorrow, we're looking for, an individual who is of Asian descent, and stands 5'9", 175 pounds, has a tattoo on their left hand. Wow, that would definitely help us as out here in the general public narrow down who the hell we're looking for in the case. But what about all the other men out there, people who may match that description? And I know it sounds stupid, but there are a lot of people out there who can't tell the difference between somebody who is Pakistani and someone who is, Asian or Pakistani and Hispanic or Native American and white. There are people out there that are completely oblivious. They've never been around a mix of cultures. They've never been around, met anyone, talked to them, and had friendships with anyone. They sit in their little, world, and they're like, that person right over there, they don't look like me. I bet that's the kidnapper. I'm making fun of Bubba, there, but there are people like that who can't tell the difference, and they would just call in tips about everybody. The mechanic who, they feel overcharged them at the mechanic shop in North Carolina or in Boston, Massachusetts. They call in tips about them, or they call about I don't like those people living on my block. And I can call in tips about ICE and have them all deported. Or have them call in tips to the FBI that's the kidnapper of Nancy Guthrie. They know that there's 0% chance that they are involved in the Nancy Guthrie case, and they know that they probably are more American than they are, but they just are racist against them because they live on their block. This is what the FBI and law enforcement, they have to filter through all this shit. And then you add a whole nother nice little cream of the crop top of the layer on there. The people who call in because they saw it in, a vision. They had a vision in their head of where Nancy is and where she's at. I can see her right now. Oh, you can? How do you see her right now? I can see her through my vision, my vision board or my cards. Or I went to a seance last night and Nancy visited us. She's dead. And they dropped her down a mine shaft, in New Mexico. These are the kind of tips, things like that get called in on top of all the real tips that can help solve the case. Not that they want these people, they want these more crazier ones to stop, but there are people who call it in. I know people and I personally do know people. When I say this, I know people. I don't know if they've done it for Nancy Guthrie, but they've definitely called in tips for missing children, and because they believed they knew something, they had an intuition about who did it, and they focused and told the law enforcement it was the father or the uncle when it wasn't at all. And from that, in that context, I'm using the Monkey Vaughn case because I know somebody who really did call in a tip and say the father was the person who took Monkey, and hurt him, and this is where he dumped him in a river. That person believed in their heart 100% that was what happened. So they really called that tip in, and I was like, really? But hey, That's the world we live in. If we want to solve these things, we need to filter out all this to get down to where the actual real possible answers are. Good morning, Super Chat Cat. I wonder what could have happened if you wore a prisoner costume in public. Well, the old Montana, Francie, the old Montana prison outfit is black and white striped this way. Montana State prison nowadays, even if you went there, yeah, they'd be like, well, that's obviously a crazy person because the uniforms now at Montana are depending upon where you are in population. They're either solid green, either shirt and pants or jumpsuit, one piece, or they're a darker brown tan color or a lighter tan color or a red and burgundy color. Burgundy is only worn by at Montana State Penitentiary now trustees that don't work in the kitchen. Those who are in the kitchen wear white pants and white shirts or a white overall item. So if you went there in Montana State prison, the old Montana State Penitentiary outfit, they just say like, look, there's a crazy man outside dressed like an old timey prison outfit. If you wore that outfit maybe in like Louisiana, it would probably be a lot more confusing because they do wear black and white stripes in Louisiana. So I think Arkansas, at least one prison in Arkansas wears them as well, the black and white stripes. Well, thank you for the 4-on-1s to the Super Chat Cat. Always. Got another 3 minutes, and then I have to wrap this up, ladies and gentlemen. Again, I am tethering. I'm using my cell phone data plan to do this stream this morning because we have all of our home internet in our subdivision is out, and I have to call it at close to an hour. Because if I use up everything, then I have no internet on my phone at all. I mean, which kind of bricks it. And they do brick it. You don't want to use it when it's slow. Again, tomorrow night, the content for tomorrow night is Richard Ramirez. Tomorrow night's trivia. Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, is tomorrow night's trivia. So if you're just joining us and you got to go, you got something else you got to do, Richard Ramirez is tomorrow night's trivia. Will, don't wear it in Louisiana. All right, Kitty Coo? I will do my best not to show up in Louisiana. I have a video for everyone that is I don't know if channel members got any notification about it. I posted it yesterday at 9 a.m. This video I'm going to release to the general public right after this stream. I don't know if anybody saw it. At least right now, the data is missing from it, watch time and everything else because of the YouTube glitch in the system. It's not reporting data correctly. Hence, I don't know how many people exactly subscribed last week, somewhere between 20 and 30. I know it wasn't 30 because 30 would have pushed the next digit over higher. And I don't pay attention to the last two digits. Not that I don't care. I just don't look at the last two digits of my subscriber count because it's always going up and down by 1 here, 10 here, 5 here, 6 there. It goes up and down. It fluctuates, but like people change their socks. So I don't look at the last, digits, but I would notice the next one if it was more than 30 because it would click the next number higher. So you'll have notes. All right, Kitty Q. Well, ladies and gentlemen, again, I have this video that's coming out here. It's going to be 9 o'clock my time here in just a minute, not even a minute, like 40 seconds. But the video comes out at 10 a.m. Oh, wait a minute, sorry. No, reverse that. It comes out at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if you're on Eastern Time, it would be 12, 1, 2. It's at 2 o'clock Eastern Time, but it's 11 o'clock here on the Pacific Coast Time or Mountain Time. Take off an hour. But and I hope that everyone loves and gives the next that video. It's a full length video, and click that hype button, do all the thumbs up and comment on it. But again, it comes out at 11 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. That's in 2 hours from now. Today, that video comes out. And tomorrow night, Richard Ramirez. Everyone, have a great day, and thank you for being here with me. Remember, question what you're being told. Even if it's by me, question it. Ask questions. Research it yourself. Don't just take anything that you're told as the honest truth and 100% of the truth. Look into it yourself. And again, if you have the opportunity to rewatch this stream over again, later or right after this one ends in high definition on a high definition TV or device, please do so. You're going to see a lot more of the details when I'm pointing out than you will on maybe a cell phone or a tablet or a laptop. Bye.